sì lóhun kan tó máa gbójúlé. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kan mi ò, ìṣúná ikán.
Ọjọ́ wo? Àsìkò wo? Ìgbà wo gan-an ni wọ́n sọ̀tàn yìí fún ọ? Ó ti lé lọ́dún kan báyìí.
Lẹ́dẹ̀ ṣùwà báyìí. Tẹ́ mi. Irú èèyàn wo gan ni?
Bí mo ṣe sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan, I'm a barrister and a law-abiding citizen. Ọ̀rọ̀ nípa òfin ni mo yàn láàyò.
Hello? If you're a lawyer, I'm also a lawyer. So don't come here and bamboozle me with laws and its jargons. I know the law in total.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Back to my words. Ẹlẹ́ṣẹ̀ kan ní lọ láì jìyà ẹ̀ṣẹ̀. Màá dẹ̀ rí dájú wípé ìdájọ́ òdodo ṣẹlẹ̀.
Kò sí nǹkan kan tó lè ṣe fún wa. Iṣẹ́ ìjọ yé mi àti ẹ.
Okay, we shall see.
Really?
Màá fi yí ẹ pé lọ́yà ju lọ́yà lọ.
Imagine moving into a house that looks completely normal from the outside, only to discover that once you enter, getting out may no longer be as easy as you thought. What if the landlord was hiding a terrible secret? What if the strange thing happening around you were not coincidence? And what if the very house you called home was actually a trap? This is a terrifying story of Onte Stamp, a Yoruba mystery thriller that takes up back to number 13, Ire Akari Street, Araromi, a place that looks like an ordinary residential building. But behind those words is a dark secret that has already destroyed the lives of the people living there. The story begins in a seemingly normal house where different tenants are simply trying to live their lives. For anyone looking from the outside, there is nothing unusual about the people. It is just another house with people coming and going. Tenants rent apartments, settle into their rooms, and expect to have a normal life. But unfortunately, number 13, Ire Akari Street, is not a normal house. The people living there soon discover that something is seriously wrong. Instead of falling safe inside their own homes, the tenants begin feeling trapped. Their lives are controlled by a ruthless and frightening landlady whose influence over the building seems to grow stronger every day. And the more the tenants try to understand what is happening, the more confusing everything becomes. People begin experiencing strange situations. Some residents feel lost, others become traumatized by what they experience, and some even appears to be physically affected by the environment around them. At first, it may seem like each person's problem is separate, but as time goes on, the tenants begin to realize that there is a connection between everything happening inside the building. There is something about the house that they don't understand. And whatever the secret is, it appears to have been hidden for a very long time. The residents are desperate for answer, but finding answer is not easy when the people who are supposed to help them are also afraid of what might happen if they speak out. The situation becomes even more serious when consumers' rights officers known as CRPA arrive at the property to investigate complaints from the tenants. You would think that their arrival will finally begin some relief. After all, these officers are there to investigate the problems and protect the people living in the building. But instead, things become even more complicated. The officer encountered residents who appear to be under some kind of spell or are extremely frightened to speaking openly about what is happening. And that's raising an even bigger question. What exactly has the landlady done to those people? Why are they so afraid? Why can't they simply leave? And why does everyone tries to challenge the situation seems to face consequences? As the investigation continues, the mystery around number 13 becomes deeper. The tenants become to understand that they are not simply dealing with an unpleasant landlord or a difficult living arrangement. Something much darker is happening behind this wall. The house seems to have a power over the living inside it, and the longer they remain there, the harder it becomes to escape. This is where the story becomes truly frightening. Imagine waking up every day in a place you no longer trust. You can relax, you can feel safe. You don't know what will happen next. And even worse, you don't know whether the person controlling your environment is trying to help you or destroy you. That is the reality facing the residents of number 13. As more strange events unfold, hidden truth slowly begins coming to the surface. The tenants start connecting the pieces. Things that once seemed like random incidents begin to look like part of a much bigger mystery. And they finally realize that their lives may be in serious danger. Yes, the residents now have only one major goal. They need to find out the truth before it is too late. But escaping is easier said than done. The enemy house has already trapped them emotionally and psychologically. Fear has taken control. Some people are too afraid to speak. Others have already suffered the consequences of challenging the situation, and the land of the graves over the property appears to be getting stronger. At this point, the residents understand that simply waiting for the problems to disappear is not an option. They have to do something. They have to investigate. They have to find out what is behind the strange occurrence. And most importantly, they have to discover whatever there is a way to break whatever cause is binding them to number 13. As the story moves forward, its climax, the tension becomes almost unbearable. The residents are no longer just trying to understand the mystery. They are fighting for their freedom. Every discovery leads to another question. Every answer exposes another secret. And every attempt to escape brings them closer to the truth. But the biggest question remains unanswered. Will number actually escape the cause, or will number 13 claim even more victim? That is what makes Onte so gripping. It combines mystery, fear, suspense, and shocking relevance, while keeping you wondering what is really happening inside this seemingly ordinary building. And one of the most interesting thing about the story is the way it shows how fear can control people. Sometimes you don't need to shame to trap someone, for fear itself can become a prison. When someone or people are terrified of the consequences of speaking out, they can remain trapped even when they desperately want to escape. And that is exactly what the residents of number 13 are experiencing. They have to find the courage to confront the mystery before it becomes them completely.